Well, we are nearing the end of the 1,000 Homes in 1,000 Days project, and joining us this morning, South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Good morning, Mayor.
Morning.
So we have about 2.5 months left, and we're hearing word that work may be wrapping up soon on the 1,000th house. What can you tell us about that?
That's right. So when I was first running for office, the biggest issue we were hearing about was, what are you doing about these boarded up houses in our neighborhoods? After I took office and after more than a year of research, we decided on this ambitious goal, 1,000 houses in 1,000 days. Now we're almost at the end of that 1,000 days, and the good news is more than 900 houses have been addressed, and many of them have had to be torn down. Many of them have been repaired, hundreds actually. So we've been able to address something that I think a lot of people thought couldn't be done. We're not there yet. We got a little countdown on the city website, but I do believe we're going to meet that goal of 1,000 houses in 1,000 days. Then our attention shifts to making sure we don't get new vacant and abandoned houses coming up right where those other ones, taking the place of the other ones, and making sure that when you have a vacant lot, we see value in that vacant lot by making sure it has a future, either with a home on it, or as a garden, or as a side lot, or some other beneficial use of that land, because it may be a while before it develops into the old neighborhood pattern that we used to know.
So a lot still to do, but what kind of impact are you seeing now in the neighborhoods where these homes have been addressed? Well,
it's early. In many cases, these houses have just come down, but we're already seeing some impact. I just got a fascinating presentation from some of the folks in our innovation office who are tracking the data. They have found a meaningful correlation where crime goes down in the radius, even as we've seen some issues with crime in the country and around the city going up, in the radius around these houses that have been addressed, it's getting better. So it is appearing to have that impact we hoped, making a neighborhood stronger for the residents who do live there by getting those collapsing houses out of their immediate area.
So once this project's done, though, still a lot of work to do to keep that from happening again.
That's right. It does no good to address 1,000 houses if 1,000 more become vacant right afterwards. So that's where we've got to make sure that our economic development is going strong, that we track those kind of early warning indicators when a house is about to fall into disrepair, that we stay on top of code enforcement and do everything else we have to do to keep our neighborhood strong for the future.
Let's talk about this roundabout that's going in at Sample and Olive Streets, one of the busiest intersections, and there are a lot of critics, especially with this $13 million price tag. If I'm not mistaken, this is a bridge. Why put it there?
Well, first of all, if you don't understand why this project is important, I recommend just driving there a little bit. This is one of those really important intersections on the west side, and it's pretty tough right now. The decking is failing, the potholes, just as soon as we can patch them, they start falling out again. So this work has to be done. The good news is we found a way to do it that gets $4 federal dollars for every $1 the city puts in. So it's 80% federal money. The city's putting up a match. It's going to be a little bit rough in the construction period because it's a big project. It's going to take more than a year to get it done. But if you've ever driven that overpass around Olive and Sample, you've seen the shape that the road is in. It has to be done, and we're definitely going to be, I think we're all going to be thankful afterwards when we have that nice smooth road.
Yeah, a lot of trucks use that area, though. Right. And when you think of big trucks and roundabouts, it usually doesn't go together.
Roundabouts can handle trucks. I know we're still getting used to it here, but in many parts of the U.S. and many parts of the world, we've been doing this for decades. It's just a little bit novel, I think, in South Bend. Obviously, you got to make sure it's designed right, make sure it's big enough, but when you do it right, roundabouts are safer, they're cheaper, and they handle traffic flow more smoothly than lights.
So real quick, is this a trend we're going to see in South Bend, more roundabouts popping up around the intersection?
You're not going to see every intersection turn into a roundabout. We only want to do it where it makes sense. But again, where it does make sense, it can save money and it can save lives.
All right, Mayor Buttigieg, thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks.
Abby.